The heart of every man craves a great adventure, but life doesn't usually feel that way. Jesus speaks of narrow gates and wide roads, but the masculine journey is filled with many twists and turns. So how do we keep from losing heart while trying to find the good way when life feels more like a losing battle than something worth dying for? Grab your gear and come on a quest with your band of brothers who will serve as the guides in what we call the masculine journey. The masculine journey starts here now.
Welcome to Masculine Journey. It seems like forever since I've seen you guys, and I only missed last week. You know, I haven't listened to the show yet, but I'm sure you railed on me at some point.
I wasn't there either, so.
Oh, well, I'm sure they talked about you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You got to get a microphone, Darren.
It was pure silence.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, we just sat here staring at each other thinking, what are we going to do? Sam's not here.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Robbie's not here. What are we going to do? Andy's not here. I mean,
yeah.
We tried to get Harold to talk as much as possible, and he did use 4 words.
All 4?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's good.
It was good.
Did Art chime in?
And we did make fun of you. Yes, he did.
Wow. I got to listen to it if Art chimed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, welcome to Masculine Journey. We're glad to have you. Obviously, we enjoy being around each other, and we hope that you enjoy listening as we talk about what God's been doing in our life and in others' lives. And that's kind of where we're going with the topic today, isn't it, Andy?
It is. It is just some things going on in my family, my extended family, recently. Got me thinking just about you hear us talk about the masculine journey and wild at heart and the impact of our life. And it's almost like we're talking about another gospel, but it is the gospel. Mm-hmm. To me, it's a gospel that's well researched and studied and articulated into a way that it's beyond what we knew the gospel as, the way we took it in ourselves, is from what I gather from talking with the guys. And this way of looking at yourself, looking at God, and looking at others. I've been doing, part of the team for 10 years. If it hadn't have done anything in 10 years, I would have blown it off a long time ago. It impacts your life, and not only you, but the people around you. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about. How is wild at heart, masculine journey, what we do here, what we talk about on a regular basis.
What the boot camps do. How does it affect your family? Because I've heard testimonies from each one of these guys, and I know personally that I've experienced it, and I'll get into some deeper stuff later on, of some stuff really current. But I'll just let the show go now. But that's kind of what we're going to talk about. Yeah, we had some great discussion before we came in. Talking about it and some good memories. And so anyway, Danny, you have the first clip, and so if you'd like to tell us something about it or do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's shockingly enough, it's from the Andy Griffith Show.
No.
Yeah, it shocked all y'all that I would actually use a clip from there.
Yeah.
But got to get back in the groove somewhere, so but it's another life lesson. Andy and Opie are having conversation, and they're always great. And, Andy's teaching him some responsibility. And, you can play the clip and we talk, and you'll hear another guy talking other than Barney, and it's Bill Bixby before he turned big and green. So, go ahead.
Paul? You in a good mood?
Yeah, why?
If I tell you something, would you promise not to get mad?
Well, it all depends. What is it?
Well, it ain't hardly worth mentioning, but I think I better mention it. You know that old window on Mrs. Pretty's back door?
Yeah.
Someone threw a ball and busted it.
Would you by any chance be that someone?
You mad, Paul?
No, I'm not mad. Promise you won't get mad. You won't get an allowance till that window's paid for, okay?
Okay, Paul.
Make way for the ice cream.
Oh, boy!
Strawberries to go in it.
Strawberries.
Come on up.
Give me a hand up, Flo.
Sheriff?
Huh?
Weren't you sort of rough on the kid?
How's that?
Well, Why don't you bail the little fella out?
Bail him out.
Well, yeah, it's just a window.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I could bail him out, like you say. But the only trouble with that, if I was to do that, why, every time he'd get in trouble, he'd be expecting me to come to the rescue, don't you see? If this time it's a broken window. Later on, it'd be something bigger, and then something bigger than that. Now, he's got to learn to stand on his own two legs now. I got to keep that young'un straight.
Yeah, he's telling this to Bill Bixby, who his father's bailed him out most of his life. And he's thinking his father's going to come bail him out. But, Andy's impact on this scene has an impact on him. But and, the reason I chose that is that, this masculine journey and, the gospel, and as you put very well, Andy, that Andy Thomas, not Andy Griffith, have to distinguish, I think. You don't have a son named Opie.
Andy says.
We need a Barney in here.
Yeah, we do need a Barney, yeah. But impacted, because there's accountability. And, for so long, I guess, I just kind of rode the waves of family matters, if you will. And, didn't dive into controversy at times. Didn't stand up and, because I thought, that was mean and cruel. But what I've learned through this message and, through, several other things is that there is accountability with love. And, if you treat somebody's heart well, then, you can still address issues and not have to be the big mean cop, so to speak, or whatever. And, and when you do things differently with people, especially with family members, because family, to be honest, they're the ones who know you the best. On this side of heaven, they know you the best. You can pose all you want to outside, but come to the house, ain't no posing. They know, and so. But when you begin to act differently, they have to react differently, and the positive impact of that far outweigh any negative stuff that comes back. And I've got some pretty tough things going on with several family members, at present time for different reasons, but. In essence, what I've learned through this and what watching you guys who've gone ahead of me in this journey, live life out well and go through tough stuff and, and come out on the other side is that, it ain't going to kill you. And that, it's okay. It's okay. And you're not alone. And, so, I've had to give some family members some space, which wasn't easy to do because come from a family that, all up in your grill sometimes, whether it need be or not. And, and my mom, bless her heart, she was the peacemaker at all cost. It didn't matter what it cost, and it cost a lot sometimes, but when she was gone, the peacekeeping force was gone, so the country went to chaos. I'm just saying. But, those are the kind of things that you have to back up and go, okay, what does this really mean? And if you bail this one out or, somebody bails you out or whatever, that kind of thing, is that really teaching you anything? Are you really learning anything? Because God's not in the business of bailing us out, so to speak. He wants us to learn life lessons, and he'll take you around the mountain several times, for you to learn the lessons. And, that's okay. And, I can remember, I'll tell a story on my son. When we were teaching him to drive, his granddaddy gave him a little Nissan pickup. It was a straight drive. And so there was a little stop sign, just a little in-grade down near where we lived. It wasn't much at all. He went down there, and he could not take off from that little incline. And his poor little leg was just shaking. And I think finally I said, son, you've had enough. So we had to go get gas. So we swapped driver and we got gas. Well, couple of days went by, and he'd practiced a little bit more. So when he got good at changing gears, I said, go back down to the stop sign down there. And you hear the air come out of his lungs, just so we went back down to the same place. I said, all right, now take off. And he nailed it. He didn't spin the tires, he took off. And he looks at me and he goes, why did you make me come there? I said, because you needed to win that victory. That's right. You were defeated here. You need to win that victory. And it's okay. It's okay to be defeated, but get back up on the horse. And, those are the kind of priceless things that we go through life. And, sometimes we ain't careful. We'll get in our own little story and we'll miss them. But, thank you guys for being the examples, ahead of me.
The same thing with Jesus. We thank him after the trial.
Yeah, sure. We do. Danny, I want to follow up on something you said before the show, right, about recognizing that other people are in the smaller story. Is pretty key that it's okay that they're there. Not to share names or anything, but there's not a lot of people that walk so deeply in the message that they understand, and it's hard for us to separate the smaller story from the larger story, which we've done shows on that if you don't know what we're talking about. But that was a key thing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got a situation where, it has kind of unfolded over the past couple of years, and, I won't share who or what, but I had to acknowledge that this person was living in a smaller story, and they didn't have the capacity to process what was going on. Part of it was my cancer diagnosis, and it came out in ways that were shocking to me, and I wanted to respond in different ways, but that were not appropriate, and it would not have been well for my heart or theirs. And God had to father me through that. And everything. But yeah, to recognize somebody, okay, they're in a smaller story, and you have to love them from there.
Yeah.
You can't drag them out, although you'd like to grab them by the ear and say, come on, it's a bit larger story. But, I get whipped. But but that's the whole idea of, being able to recognize these things in my own life and in other people's lives. Okay. And I love the fact that me and Michelle sit around talking, my wife, and every once in a while she goes, I've made an agreement. And I go, well, look at there.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's cool. I think that as we see, I didn't know much about the larger story, right? What that was. And God had grace for me through that. And so he lets us have grace for others when we recognize, oh, okay, I've been there. I've been, and some days I am there. Right. And so I can relate. I'm not pointing fingers. I just need to have more grace and more understanding.
Yeah.
Right. Well, anyway, Harold, have you thought anything you want to say?
Well, the impact that I think it's had on me and my family is the understanding that we've gained about these things called agreements and about other things. It really helped me deal with a problem that I've had with my father and his drinking. Learning about when
Harold, let's pick that up after. I always do this to you. I ask you something, then we go to break. Go to masculinejourney.org to register for boot camp.
What we have at our boot camp is something that makes you stronger and gives you the strength to go on your regular walk with God. It's something that will make you be bigger than you were when you got there.
The first one, I had no clue what I was walking into, and then realizing that other people are in the same boat and, how open everybody was to share their struggle. It was a great group, and a lot of unpacking was able to be done.
It is a tight bond of men. Everybody's the same. And each and every time that I've come to boot camp, I've learned something different. And not one man that's ever been there neglects not to take time out to talk or to share. It's serious business, and you need to come one time to break bread with the men, fellowship, feel the atmosphere, hear the people pray, and get down to earth about what's going on in life and get real.
Register today at masculinejourney.org.
Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. We are family. Sing it to me. I got all my sisters with me. Sing it to me.
Well, Andy, that was your bump.
Yeah, we are family.
Yeah.
What was it, 75, somewhere around there?
Yeah.
Sister Sledge.
Yes.
And so the words that you heard there, here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh, no, this is our family jewel. We are family. Hey, sing it to me. I got all my brothers with me.
Yeah.
That's not what I heard.
That's not what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim's not here.
It'd be brothers and sisters.
That's right, the Carolina girls.
Yeah.
But, just idea. We are family. I mean, you can repurpose these songs. So many of these songs. This wasn't written to God, but have faith in you and the things you do. This is what we're talking about. Is how he.
Have faith
it's
in
not.
him.
It's not the masculine journey or anything. It's a God. It's It's opening ourselves up to God and allowing Him to father us through this stuff. But He's the one that does these things, and that's our golden rule.
When you were talking earlier about masculine journey, about wild at heart. Mm-hmm. That's not the answer. It's the vehicle that gets you to God in a deeper way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, in a more intimate way.
Yep.
And that's where our heart found God, and God found us in a much deeper way, and that's why we're passionate about it. Wherever God meets you, you have passion
That's
about
right.
it.
There's people, I've got other parts of my family who are thriving in God, and they were a mess.
Yeah.
And they didn't go through all this stuff.
Right.
A lot of it can come in different ways. But a lot of us, this seems to be the package God has chosen for us to receive the message. And it all makes sense. And, it just gets back to the heart, literally the heart.
Yeah, it does.
And so that's why it's so important and resonates with us. So.
And this was written for men.
Yeah.
And
true.
it really is.
Yep.
We're not that hard to understand. We're pretty simple, really.
One knob, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, when we left, our buddy Harold was talking about the impact on his family from the masculine journey. So, Harold, as usual, I cut you right in the middle of what you were saying and had to go to break.
No biggie. The insights that come through this program really are helpful, especially if you have problems with temper, which I did, road rage, which I embraced for way too many years. But because of a lot of the things that we can learn about our nature as being masculines trying to follow God, it helps. Mm-hmm. So I would say it's had a very positive impact on me and my family, my association with this group.
And then you were talking a little bit about the with your dad.
Yeah. I had tremendous resentment growing up because my dad had an alcohol problem, and I resented that greatly. And it affected me and impacted my relationship with other members of the family. And things are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, God's done some healing there. Yeah. Well, thank you, Harold. Darren, it's your clip time now.
Yeah, this clip comes from the movie Saving Mr. Banks, and I mean, there was like 732 clips that I could have used, or however many thousand we've cut over the last,
long time,
16 years, 15 years. But this one it articulates the message that we're trying to articulate, but it's real. Okay, and it's even a true story. And Walt Disney is talking to Mrs. Travers, who was the writer of Mary Poppins, and that's what the book is about. She's writing this message because she's got some massive father wounds, a father who was a severe alcoholic, and so she's grown up with a lot of resentment, and she's trying to repaint the picture. But she's trying to do it falsely, kind of, and just cover it up, if you will, just put extra paint on it. And Walt has gotten some healing with his relationship with his father. And so he's in this, she's basically backed out, and I'm not going to produce the movie. I'm not going to give you anything else. You can't do the movie, blah, blah, blah. And so he's gone to her to talk to her personally about this and try to get her to understand, look, this is a gift to people if you can, do this. But he uses his own story. His dad was a very hard man. My kids could say that about their dad. And so it relates to me personally. I didn't have a father that struggled with alcohol making me resentful. My kids had a father who was resentful, causing them to be alcoholics. No, they're not alcoholics, but they could have been, and they could have blamed me, and they would have been okay doing that. But there were so many parts of this puzzle for me that is real, and the reality is this: we are all nothing but the result of our wounds. Pause for effect, if we don't allow God to redeem those wounds. Right. So that's the key, though. You have to allow God to step in and start redeeming those wounds. And when you allow him to start redeeming your wounds, magically you start living in the larger story.
Yeah.
And start understanding that everyone, including those people that have hurt you the most, also were very wounded. And so this allows one to look at those people that have hurt them, father, mother, brother, sister, friend, whatever, and say, yep, God has given me grace, and now I'm living in the larger story. That person wasn't an evil person necessarily. They were broken just like me, and I'm tired of remembering it, towards the negative. And so just play the clip, and
there we go.
It's self-explanatory.
And old Elias, well, he didn't believe in new shoes until the old ones were worn through. And honestly, Mr. Travers, the snowdrifts, sometimes they were up over my head. And we'd push through that snow like it was molasses. Cold and wet seeping through our clothes and our shoes. Skin peeling from our faces. Sometimes I'd find myself sunk down in that snow, just waking up, because I must have passed out or something, I don't know. And then, well, it was time for school, and I was too cold or wet to figure out equations and things. And, well, then it was right back out in the snow again to get home just before dark. Mother would feed us dinner, and then it was time to go right back out and do it again for the evening edition. You best be quick there, Walt. You better get those newspapers up on that porch and under that storm door. Pop's gonna lose his temper again and show you the buckle end of his belt, boy. I don't tell you this to make you sad, Mrs. Travers. I don't. I love my life. I think it's a miracle. I love my dad. He was a wonderful man. But rare is the day when I don't think about that 8-year-old boy delivering newspapers in the snow and old Elias Disney with that strap in his fist. And I am just so tired, Mr. Travers. I'm tired of remembering it that way. Aren't you tired too, Mrs. Travers? Now, we all have our sad tales, but don't you want to finish the story, let it all go, and have a life that isn't dictated by the past?
So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the difference between living in the larger story and the smaller story. The smaller story is, I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
This person hurt me. The larger story is, we've all hurt somebody, and God being the number one person that we've hurt. And yet he looks beyond, according to John 13, he looks beyond our blamable behavior, which is horrible, and he looks to our need, and our need is forgiveness, and our need is unconditional love, and so he supplies that, even while we were dead in our transgressions, according to Ephesians. That is when he chose to make us alive again. And so we get that same dignity, honestly, when we forgive Harold's father. We get the dignity of bringing him back to life in a different way. Mm-hmm. When we forgive our mate who may have had an affair or may have hurt us, may have physically abused us, when we forgive, we have that same opportunity as Jesus. Yes, we're not raising them back to life spiritually as Jesus does us, but we are resurrecting a new life, and we don't have to keep remembering it that way. Right. And that's, I think, one of the huge messages for me is it taught me to be able to do that for my kids and to be able to say, hey, yeah, I blew it, kids. Love you. Sorry. Try not to do that again. And today, my kids are amazing people and, blessing people in the kingdom every day. And so that's I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to restore my relationship with my daughter had I not been walking through this message with you guys and learning from, obviously Scripture first and foremost, but then having others to help me understand and interpret life as it comes based on the Scriptures.
Yeah, one of the things that's consistent in all of our stories is we've not been wounded the same way, but often the messages are very similar, right? And when you see someone else get healing, you get hope, right? And okay, this can happen for me. It's horrible what happened to us, and it's a real shame what happened to every one of us and everyone listening. The bigger shame is when we stay stuck there and let it dictate the rest of our life. Because the story you're staying in is a very painful story, right? People either get bitter or they get better, right? And that's the two choices you have, and that's what I look at. There's a lot of times I don't want to have to deal with things from my past, but I don't want to become that person or be stuck there, right? And you don't have to be, because God's offering that, and when it changes you, it changes everybody around you.
Amen.
And that's what we're talking about. Go to Masculine Journey for the upcoming boot camp. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving. Andy, do you know the dates?
19th through the 22nd.
Thank you. 19th through 22nd of November, if you didn't know where Thanksgiving was. Right? It is an advanced boot camp. So if you've not been to one of our camps or another camp and you want to go, reach out to us. We'll try to find a way for you to get there. We'll talk to you next week, and let God work on your heart. Let him heal you and love others well.